1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, hey everyone out there in Banjo land, Mike Heading here. Today I've got a bluegrass style solo for the classic song When the Saints Go Marching In the key of G. I kept the arrangement pretty simple on this version, and what we're going to work on is playing with the proper timing, so making sure we give our quarter notes plenty of value and making sure we play our eighth notes with the proper timing, which is probably the single most thing I see beginners struggle with, is playing with the proper timing. And that's hugely important with bringing out the melody, which is another common thing I always hear beginners talk about, is I'm playing the song but I don't hear the melody. So we're going to talk about using rhythm to bring out the melody. We're also going to talk about adapting an open string melody. So When the Saints Go Marching In uses a lot of open strings in the key of G. So we're going to look at some basic bluegrass ways to take those open strings and adapt them to making it sound more like a bluegrass banjo solo. So really important, there's a ton of stuff you can use in this song that you can apply to lots of other songs. I'm going to break down the whole tune note for note and then show you a bunch of backup you can do. Alright, here's When the Saints Go Marching In the key of G. Alright, so let me break down the first two measures of When the Saints Go Marching In the key of G. I'll play it and then I'll break it down. One more time. Okay, so we're going to start with our pickup notes. We're going to start with the open third string. And I'm going to use my thumb of my right hand. And then I'm going to do two index and middle pinches on the first and second strings. First open and open. And then I'm going to put my first finger of my left hand down on the first fret of the second string. I'm going to pinch those two strings, same strings. So it sounds like this. 1, 2. They're all quarter notes. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. And the melody there is open third string, open second string, and first fret second string. So that's the When the Saints. And I'm just filling that up with a pinch. Then we're going to go up to the third fret of the second string, and I'm going to pinch those two notes. So second and first strings again. So I'm using index and middle of my right hand 3 times in a row. I'm going thumb, and then 3 index and middle pinches. Don't rush those. Very key on this song, and we're going to talk about that, is those are quarter notes. So we want to make sure we don't do those too fast. So it's 1, 2. Now here's measure 2. So you're going to slide you could either use your third finger. I'm using my second, either way. So you hit that note, and then I use my second finger. I slide up to the third fret, and I'm going to pinch that note. Those two strings. And then my thumb of my right hand is going to come down. I'm going to do a 2-3 hammer on the second string. So I did thumb middle there, second string, first string. Then I'm going to keep my third fret down on the second string. I'm going to go up to the fifth string with my right hand. I'm going to go 5, 2, 1, 5. So T-I-M-T. So measure 2 sounds like this. So beat 1's a quarter note. That's going to give you time to bring your thumb down. So it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Let's loop that a few times. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay? So don't rush those. Really important. It's easy on a song like this to rush the quarter notes, and then you realize you have to play the eighth notes a lot faster. So really set the tempo on how fast you can play those eighth notes. So, don't go any faster than you can play that part, because that's the faster notes of the song. So, okay, one more time. Here's 1 and 2 together. So my other advice is count beat 1, since we got to rest on beat 1 of measure 1. So 1. One more time. 1, 2. Another little beginner tip is you got to figure out how you got to bend your hand. You got to keep your wrist of your left hand out enough that you can play both those strings. So I'm playing the first and second strings, and I'm not muting like that. If this gets back too much, if your wrist gets bent back too much, you'll end up muting that first string. So you have to keep your hand out enough, and that takes a little bit of practice. You can play each string on its own. You need to be able to get both of them to ring out. Okay, one more time. 1. Now here's measure 3. We're going to do that same 3 open pinch, first and second strings. And then we're going to do the same pickup. So all the same notes. So measure 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4. All quarter notes there. Again, don't rush it. Be really careful there. Count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you don't like those pinches, you could also just play straight melody. So you'd just be playing the second string there instead of that open first string. That pinch just gives it a little bit extra power and emphasis, though. So it's a very bluegrass kind of way to interpret a melody. But remember, the single straight note melody is. So we're filling that space up with a roll, and we're filling those notes up with pinches. This is a great song to work on. Again, adapting a basic single melody, into more of a bluegrass style solo. So we're filling that space up, that long space that would normally be, oh, when the saints, we got a long note there, so we're filling that up with a roll. Very kind of, again, a very bluegrass banjo way to interpret a melody. So this is a great song to work on. Again, adapting a single note melody you might know on the banjo to make it actually sound like a bluegrass song. Okay? So here's measure 3 one more time. We're doing those same pickups. Now here's measure 4. We're going to do what's kind of called the Foggy Mountain breakdown roll. So we're going to do 2 hammer-ons on the second string, 2 to 3. So the first one I did without, I just played it with the index finger of my right hand. And then my thumb is going to come down. I'm going to do that same thumb middle thing I did in measure 2. And then I'm going to go up to the 5th string and do 5, 2, 1, 5. So measure 2 and measure 4 are very similar. The only thing different is at the beginning of measure 2 we did a pinch. And then we let our thumb come down and do that roll. In measure 4 we just, instead of doing a pinch, we did a hammer-on. So I'm starting that with my index finger of my right hand, and then my thumb's coming down, because that allows me to loop the measure if I want to. You can loop measure 4 again. It's used in Foggy Mountain Breakdown. It's a really classic kind of banjo lick. So again, we're filling that melody up. We're filling that up with a roll now. So let's play the first 4 measures.